What's going on, guys? It's day 114. So let's go over trade that I took, what I was thinking, how it played out, how I was feeling. So 4 hour, we were still bearish at the time. This candle was forming. Still not giving us confirmation that price was going to move lower or higher. So 1 hour was bullish. We're rejecting off this hourly gap, and we are also sweeping liquidity down here, making an SMT on NQ for orders right here. So this SMT, and we're also resisting off an hourly. So 1 hour was still bearish. Like I said, this candle was forming. This is 6 o'clock, closes at 10, still forming. my hypothesis, my consensus for the day was price wanted to come down into a deep retracement into this CPI candle like it usually does. And usually either I was going to trade down to it or I was going to trade up out of it, right? So my trade idea wasn't bad. It was execution. In execution, the slightest, one thing goes bad, the entire trade goes bad. And so I had experienced that today. I experienced massive amounts of FOMO, caused me to not follow my strategy, right? So we were in this equilibrium. Price was rejecting off it pretty heavily in this range. And so I saw that happen, and I saw an entry confirmation on the 1 minute on NQ. Now, this is a perfect example how my strategy would have played out. So, right, we were chopping up in this range, and I saw this break a structure and inverse 1 minute IFVG. So I'd entered here, stops above here, got stopped out immediately, 2 minutes. But saw this candle start going, gave me a little FOMO. I didn't hesitate to enter. So what had happened is we were here right at 9:35, saw price come up, sweep this 5 minute high, making an SMT at the highs, right? And ES failed to break structure below this low. That's where I fucked up. And this was the same entry time. So then price ripped up, took me out, continued lower. Now, where an entry presented is where I have to see ES and NQ break structure or inverse a fair value gap on the 1 minute. That's my entry confirmation. I need both. And this is a perfect example of that. And I didn't follow it. So I fell into FOMO here, ultimately paid the price for it. And it was honestly better that I did, not win this trade. Otherwise, that would give positive reinforcement to a bad habit. And that isn't good for longevity, and that's not going to work out in the long term. So, had to learn my lesson the hard way. But I knew where price wanted to go, right? And I knew where it was going to reverse. So, I had taken an early trade. I took this prematurely and took it early and didn't follow my rules. Now, where price showed an entry, right? It's right here at 10 o'clock or 10 o'clock, 10:01. Right? You can see ES inverse the gap. It doesn't have to be exact, but you have to see confirmation, right? So ES inverse the gap right here, this 1 minute gap, inversed, and then the next candle when we were And you can see on NQ, it didn't inverse the gap on at the 10 o'clock candle, but the 10:01 candle did inverse this little tiny gap here. This would have been the ideal trade setup, and my stops would have been above here, right? So at 9, you can see there's potentially an entry at 9:52, right? No, not unless ES had broken structure or inversed the gap here. So this was the only entry, and this is where it just dumped. This is exactly where it dumped, right? Dumped all the way down to exactly where I assumed price was going to reverse. So I put it at this 5-minute low. It tends to happen on CPI days or PPI days. Price doesn't come all the way down to sweep liquidity. Stays within the range and respects a gap. As you can see, respect a 1 hour gap, 15-minute, 5-minute, doesn't matter. So I put this mock trade up, see if it play out, and of course it did. This is proof. This is gives me positive reinforcement that yes, my strategy works, but how am I going to find my probability, allow my probability to play out if I can't even follow my simple fucking rules? I can't fall into this FOMO shit, revenge trading, and I wanted to go on tilt so bad today. So bad. But I didn't. I didn't do it. So, very unfortunate. It's actually not unfortunate. It's actually just my fault. It's not fortunate, unfortunate. It's just my fault. Simple as that is that I did not stick to my rules. When it came down to every single confluence, I had it. It was there. Everything was there. Everything was aligning. But the last one that I need, and I didn't fucking follow it, was right here. It's the entry. And you can see I got instantly stopped out. Because I didn't wait for confirmation on both indexes. I didn't wait for confirmation on ES. There was no confirmation here. Nowhere until 10 o'clock where price inversed the gap. And then at 10:01 for NQ. So I absolutely fucked myself over. This could have been a winning day, but I absolutely fucked myself over. And, you know, these are the times where I do learn the most. And this is a blessing more than a curse coming from today. Because it made me realize, where do all my mistakes derive from? FOMO. And this was a good example and a clear-cut mistake where it's like, I don't know, like yesterday, I don't know if I made a mistake or not. This is a clear-cut mistake because I simply didn't follow my rules for the reason of FOMO. What happened yesterday? I FOMO'd into a trade even though I knew price was improbable. So, this is a blessing more than a curse. I might have lost today. I might have missed out today. The one thing that I need to figure out before even becoming slightly profitable is FOMO. Is FOMO, bro. And this is something that I've been struggling with my entire trading career for this last year. I can't get over the fact of FOMO because I've seen it happen time and time again. And I was discussing this with a friend. I see my setup. And by the time, it's either I can't find that middle ground of FOMO and being too scared to enter. And so just say, like now, I'm experiencing FOMO. The next trade I see, I keep getting this cycle of I miss out on good setups, right? And then the next one, I'm like, okay, I saw a good setup yesterday. I should enter on this good setup today. And I get fucked over. And then it's this repeat cycle of me losing, getting to my head, and doing it all over again. I'm trying to break the fucking cycle. And that's easy and simple if I could follow my rules consistently every single day. It is so simple. It is so simple, but it is so difficult for our human, feeble minds. I sit in this primal state, this fight or flight state, every time I'm on the charts. And it intrigues these emotions, the fears, the anger, all of it. And I can't simply sit there and just be calm in the moment. I can't be content with everything because I have nothing. I have nothing. I can't be still. I haven't been able to pass a fucking account in the last 3 months. I'm trying to practice the stillness. I'm trying. And once I'm able to master that, I can finally start taking profits because FOMO, the one thing that is in my way, the one psychological thing that is fucking with me time and time again, then creating more and more mistakes, and then it's finally come down to the easiest thing. And what's crazy is that I prayed today. I prayed today. I pray every morning. But I asked today. And I asked, Lord, please allow me to understand the decisions that I made and allow me to understand my mistakes and allow me to better the decisions to come and allow me to make better decisions. Simple as that. Something simple. And as the Lord says, you ask and you shall receive. And mind you, I prayed at 9 o'clock this morning, every morning. And specifically today, I asked for this specifically. God's timing is impeccable. God showed me exactly what has been fucking me time and time again. Exactly my problem. Because it's not it's not my draw on liquidity, it's not my strategy, it's not anything technical on the chart. It's simply one thing that creates problems here, it creates problems there, and then it gets me in this headspace where it's like, okay, it's not FOMO. God has put this clear cut in front of me. I could have saw this today and been like, okay, I was undisciplined today. I didn't follow my strategy. But what was I feeling? What was I feeling that caused me to even make this decision to enter on this trade? Was FOMO. So today, I am a victim of FOMO. And I can look back at my trade recaps. FOMO this, FOMO that, bro. And I've done it multiple time and time again. And finally, I asked the Lord. And I asked the Lord the right thing. And he simply gave me exactly what I needed. Exactly what I needed to become profitable, bro. And it was FOMO. This whole entire time, it has been FOMO time and time again, regardless of what I thought it was or what it was before. It was FOMO every single time because I feel the same exact way entering to a trade. It's like I could miss out on this trade, and then I miss the trade, and I feel like shit. So I gotta find this peace, this balance of missing out on a trade. That it is okay to miss out on a trade. And once I get that instilled in my mind and my head, and I can finally be free of that. I can be free of this FOMO shit. That is okay to miss a trade. It is better than losing and taking a bad trade. So something as simple as fucking today. I had everything. I had every single thing. I had my bias. I had my confluences. I had the setup, and it played out. And I would have banked on today if I simply followed my fucking rules. And it came down to the last, the simplest, the easiest fucking rule is to see if both indexes show me that price is going to move farther down. And I couldn't even follow that. I fucking entered on FOMO. I entered because I saw the next candle was going down and it was moving crazy. Fucking FOMO. Fucking FOMO out of all things, bro. But you know what? It is a joyous and it is a fucking happy day because guess what? I just figured it out. I just fucking figured it all out. What has caused me to fuck up time and time again is FOMO. So fuck the money that I lost today. Fuck the money that I lost yesterday. And fuck all the accounts that I've been fucking blowing. Because guess what? I just fucking figured it out. And once I can figure out exactly how I can conquer that feeling and that emotion and during the moment of the trade and during the moment of finding a setup and seeing the setup, to breathe and just not make irrational, emotional decisions. Decisions that are impulsive and based off emotion. Because time and time again, I rationalize my emotional decisions. What did I rationalize? I'll tell you exactly what I fucking told myself. Exactly what I told myself when I entered this trade. I said, I've seen this before. I've seen this before, and, I hope it just plays out. I hope it just plays out. But I knew exactly when I entered that trade, it just hit me. It hit me at the moment I entered the trade. I was like, why did I just fucking enter that trade? I didn't even wait for confirmation on ES. I was like, I was entering the trade, and I said, I'm just going to enter. What the fuck? No. This is not how you fucking trade. How the fuck are you going to trade for longevity if you're just going to fucking enter? You need to wait and be patient for your strategy to present. But today, it's the day that I figured it all out. What is it most that I'm struggling with, though? The one thing that that is holding me back is FOMO. It is the root to all of my problems. And if you are experiencing the same thing, take a moment. Look back at your journal. Look back at maybe some videos or some trades that you've taken and think back, what was I feeling in that moment? What was I feeling when I entered this trade? Was it FOMO? Was it anger? Were you revenge trading? What were you feeling in the moment? And then be aware the next time. Be aware of that moment. Be aware of that feeling. Do everything that you can to understand it, to resist the urges, and breathe. Breathe. Feel calm. Feel relaxed. Because when you're trading and you're in those intense and situation moments, you tend to make emotional decisions because you are feeling more than you are perceiving. As simple as that. And you are not in the rational state of mind that you need to be in, but you are in the emotional, irrational state where your mind rationalizes emotional decisions. Remember that. Your mind will rationalize emotional decisions, whether you realize it or not. So it is your job to even, before you even get to that point of deciding whether you are going to enter this trade and you aren't even aware if you are feeling emotional or not, you need to figure out what are your triggers. Where is it at that point you cross over to that emotional state of being, that primal state, that caveman brain, whatever you want to put it as, that fight or flight. Understand before you get to that point, be aware of it. Find that grounding where you can come back to reality and realize what you are doing, what you are about to do. And before before you make that decision. Ask yourself, how am I feeling? Do not just fucking enter because you are the fear of getting a bad or a fear of missing out. At that point, just don't enter. Because guess what? There is another day to trade. There is 5 days out of the week to trade. There's always another day. And if you miss it, you need to put your hands in the air. You need to take a breath because guess what? You have tomorrow. You have the day after that. You have the next week. So take a deep breath. In those high intense motions, in those high intense moments where you're feeling that heaviness on your chest, that feeling where you're looking side to side, you are about to make a quick decision. Make a decision that you are sure about. Just breathe, just breathe, just breathe. Understand how you're feeling, what decision you are about to make before making that decision. Ask yourself how you are feeling. Am I scared to miss this trade? Is this trade within my strategy? Ask yourself these questions. You may not remember it during the moment or not, but the more you practice it and the more mindful you are, the more and the stronger you're going to get, the stronger your mind's going to get, and the better trader you are going to become. I'm not a perfect person, but I am just simply explaining the things that have come to realization for me. And I would love to share it to anybody else who is struggling with this, who is having a hard time, and hopefully fast track their progress and maybe give a little insight and give them a different belief. I just simply want to help so you don't have to go through the struggles that I did, because being a trader is emotionally taxing. It is mentally taxing. And sometimes it is physically taxing. It fucking hurts. I can tell you any profitable trader can attest to that. These hard times suck. But through the bad times, there's always an uptrend, or a retracement, if you will. And I feel that's where I'm going, where it's heading. I just need to instill FOMO is my problem. FOMO is my problem, and how do I fix it? How can I fix this? Understand the feeling and do better. Understand your mistakes. Do not disregard them. Do better next time. That being said, this was a rambling video. Very emotional video. Felt very empowered and motivated and inspired to make this a little bit longer, to speak on some of the things that I am thinking. And I hope this helps you. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.